Hello, my name is AJ. I am here with Brandon over Discord, and
Hi, I'm Brandon on Discord.
This is Brandon on Discord, and that
That's my
is
brother on Discord.
Darian on Discord. We're putting out a new kind of video today, and that is one where we do it over video chat instead of live in person, because we have some stuff that we want to talk about, and we can't get to each other's houses to record a video.
It's literally impossible.
It is literally
There's
impossible.
no way for us to get there.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing would be our failure at our long form video.
Yeah, so we were supposed to put out a longer, in-depth video on the games that happened this past week, the first week of the NA LCS, and
because there's a large audience that's really waiting for this video, and
Yes.
I'm really sorry to all of you, but it's not coming.
yeah, we're breaking a lot of hearts with this one. So we actually did most of it in
That's
the
true.
wee hours of the morning, and
That's true.
at one point the camera cut off, and it was already so late that we were just like, all right, this isn't gonna work out. So we
A lesson in time management.
Yes. So we're deciding not to put that one out. This is one big experiment. All these videos, we are learning from trial and error a lot. So
Mostly error.
yes, mostly error. So there should be one coming out next week for the next group of games. We'll see
We'll
how that
actually do the
goes.
long form that time. I feel like
Yes.
we got a much better system down. It's gonna be not going until 2 in the morning.
Yes, hopefully. Hopefully speaking. Okay, so other than that, we have some actual league related stuff to talk about, and that is the patch 8.2 notes were released today.
Ooh, yes, they were.
We are recording this at 11 p.m.
EST.
Eastern time on January 23rd. So the patch comes out tomorrow. So we just wanted to go over some of the bigger points in this patch and talk about it, because it's fun stuff to talk about. So do you have the patch notes up?
I do.
Okay, cool. So we'll probably just like skim over some of the things that don't really seem as important. Starting out with the first one, there's an echo buff aimed at making him a better jungler. They're just increasing his... Oh, that's not what I'm showing. There we go. All right. Echo buff, increasing his base attack speed at level 1.
So he can jungle more efficiently.
So he can jungle more efficiently and have a better first clear. Cool. Good stuff. I like playing Echo. He's fun. I don't think it's going to like make him all of a sudden just a super crazy jungler out of
Like,
nowhere.
oh, no!
Yeah,
No, but as long as he can like get through his first clear, that's the hardest thing for most junglers.
yeah, so that's cool. I like playing Echo. Next thing is an Evelyn nerf, and they just completely lower the damage on her E in both the normal and empowered form.
It's not really surprising. She has a really high win rate right now. Even when like I play her, sometimes it surprises me how much her E does. So not really too big of a surprise there. Probably a necessary nerf.
Yeah. Totally agree. She probably is doing too much damage, and
It looks like a pretty significant nerf. So
yeah,
we'll have to see like how that keeps going after the patch. See how her like pick and win rate stabilizes.
yeah, because she like when her rework actually first came out, she actually wasn't in like a great spot, and then when runes came around, it kind of flipped that on its head. So I mean, I think it's definitely a reasonable nerf to make, but hopefully they didn't just gut the champion into unviability. Ezreal Q damage, base damage is down. It's at the early levels at least. Starts out as a 20 base damage nerf. Goes down to a 15, 10, 5, and then 0. So they're nerfing his early game base damage, which is, I mean, that's good, but further on the patch notes, they're also nerfing Kleptomancy. So my only worry is that they nerf the champion, which they have been doing over and over and over again, and then they nerf the runes, and then
it even says like the first word in his nerf notes is kleptomancy. Like, so like you said, it might be too much of a hit like at the very end, but we'll have to like, wait and see.
Yeah, I think the biggest time to watch out for that is going to be this patch. See how these nerfs hit him, and it really sucked for Ezreal after never being played because he can't use Ardent Sensor, then getting his time in the spotlight to just get nerfed into oblivion again. Some interesting changes for Jinx. So they decreased her base attack damage. Her passive no longer stacks, but uncaps the attack speed while Jinx is excited, and the minigun's attack speed no longer scales with level, but scales harder with rank. It's interesting. I don't know how to feel about this. They say they want to accentuate her nature by toning down her early game safety and ramping up her ability to snowball. I mean, I don't
have too much on this because I don't really play Jinx, but I thought that she scaled well.
I mean, she scales, but I think they're trying to make it like a bigger difference between when she does well and when she doesn't do well.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
If this is the way to do it, I'm not entirely sure. I was never like a huge fan of the whole attack speed cap exceeding like skills, like how Kog'Maw's W used to do that. Now Lethal Tempo does that, and now Jinx's passive is going to do that. I don't think it never seems like it's worked.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a weird thing. Like you have the cap in the first place, right? And then you like give abilities that like let you break it.
You just have to have so much attack speed, and I mean that's fine.
It's gonna be like she's shooting a literal minigun.
Yeah. A metaphorical minigun. They also made it so that her minigun attack speed doesn't scale with level anymore, but it goes up pretty dramatically with rank.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that makes it so she'll most likely have more attack speed once she hits that 5th rank in minigun, rather than where she was at beforehand.
Yeah, so just more on the scaling and getting to the end without having a snowball is hard. Less reliant on it.
So I mean, I don't know if that's gonna make Jinx like competitively viable. Probably not. Maybe it makes Lethal Tempo like a nice take on her.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just seems weird to me. I'm gonna move on to Kha'Zix, another assassin jungler getting nerfed.
I think it's a fair nerf too. So like the whole thing about Kha'Zix is that he's supposed to be like a solo target assassin. He's supposed to, creep around and find one target and kill them. And they just think that right now he's a little bit too good at not only killing single targets, but like jumping into the fray and killing like multiple people, which I feel like is a pretty fair assessment.
Yeah.
Seeing people play him, I think that's been an issue with him for a while now. So he got the nerf on his passive, cut the ratio down in half, but he did get a slight buff on his Q. So it's just they don't want to make him like just bad. They just want him to be better at what they intended him to do, that single target burst.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
I think it's fair.
I prefer the small touches here and there than like a huge hit.
Speaking of touches here and there, the next one.
Yes. Okay. Malzahar.
Oh my god.
One of the like big 4 in the mid lane competitively right now. He is getting his Q ability power ratio nerfed, and the ult on his the cooldown on his ult. Excuse me. Cooldown on his ult nerfed. Pretty fair.
Yeah, it's 20 extra seconds at rank 1.
I don't know what more to say about that. With an ability that's a point and click suppress, having it up not as often is just nice for everybody else in the game.
Yes, definitely.
Here's one that's gotten a little bit of talk about in the Twitter feeds. The new buff. So now his Q will give him scaling magic damage on basic attacks.
Yeah.
Plus 5 per 100 ability power. So it's not a lot by any means, but it's something. And his W will increase ability power by 40%.
On both targets.
Yes.
So I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like the touch to Nunu is like they're just like Nunu's not good, so let's try to make him good. I mean, it's kind of interesting.
I mean, that's fair, but with the champion like Nunu, who
is
is
so boring and one-dimensional.
So one-dimensional,
he just needs to rework.
Yeah, I don't
But they're
think
they're just trying to hold people over that play him until the rework comes around.
All
probably
2 people.
Experimenting with actually. They're probably just experimenting with some things they might use down the road.
Yeah. He just needs a rework by now. Okay, another sort of controversial one is the Ornn nerfs. They're removing the unstoppable on his W, and that's the controversial one. The cooldown nerf on his ult is very reasonable.
That's been like all over the place since he came out, right? Like his ult cooldown. That's like it was high and then low, and they keep like, going back and forth on it. It feels like.
Yeah, I think it's still been too low ever since they changed it.
And especially, so it looks like it's half a minute longer at max rank, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is fair. He gets picked in competitive a lot now because he can spam that ult, and it's huge. Like literally,
it's just such an impactful ability to be able to do it sometimes twice in one fight, just if it lasts that long, of course.
Plus, like with like CDR and shit.
Exactly. Now, the removing the unstoppable on his W is pretty interesting.
I'm with the hive mind on this one. I think it's.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's because the purpose, like Ornn, like face value. I feel like with a lot of his skills is kind of like. I don't want to call it like brain dead or one dimensional, but like there's a like really clear thing in mind that he's doing, and like with his W, it gave you like this outplay potential, right?
Yeah.
With the unstoppable, and I don't think that was the problem with him. I don't think people were like, "Oh my god, he goes unstoppable and I can't kill him. This is ridiculous." It's like, no, he does all of your health and has a shield at the same time. Like, I don't think that was the issue. And yeah, I think taking out like outplay potential in any champion, when I don't think in the first place it was unfair, it really hurts the champion and people's like desire to play it in any way. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, that makes sense. I think
and it's really unique too.
It is pretty unique. I'm kind of willing to wait and see on this one. I can definitely see your point. Like, I get it, and that's probably true. I'm just willing to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a rioter, so.
You're not?
Oh no, I'm sorry, man. But yeah, we'll come back to that. Maybe we'll see, like, maybe we can do like a revisit to like our thoughts on this patch in like a week or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
So moving on, the Pantheon. Oh, so like this is
kind of tied in with the minion aggro changes that they talk about later.
Really interesting to me. So maybe we can touch on that when we like get there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so his W just no longer blocks or is consumed by siege minion attacks, but that's more important with the minion aggro changes. Next one's Sona.
Yeah, Sona. So they nerf the cost of her Q to make it a little bit easier for her to use without going
buffed the cost of her Q.
Oh yeah, like it costs less.
Yes, that's a weird little distinction.
Which, I mean, I guess that's interesting. I feel like she definitely has been played a lot less since she was nerfed at the start of Frozen Wars, so it might make her see a little bit more playtime.
Perhaps.
So that's just like another little one.
And now another champion that's actually seeing a lot of play is Vayne.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And they're nerfing her attack speed growth, and they are also nerfing the bonus 80 that she gets on her ult.
That's pretty fair stuff, I think. I think she's really strong right now. Like, I see she's pick banned. I don't know about in competitive, but in solo queue.
Yeah. It's just really interesting. Vayne's identity for a really long time has been as a scaling champion. It's like a late game champion. And so with the previous changes they did to her early game got better, and now they're nerfing her late game. So her identity is kind of shifting in a way.
Well, they did the lore rework, so whatever. Change everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair. Her, once she gets to level 6, her ult tumble auto attacks with fucking IE and Shiv aren't gonna do as much.
All of your help.
Yeah, and attack speed's not gonna be as good, but actually, wait, I'm not sure that's how that stat works. It would be base attack speed if her building attack speed on her wouldn't be as good. She'll just have lower attack speed at all times than she would before.
They updated Misfortune splash arts,
and they look beautiful.
I am a huge fan of Riot's art team, or whatever you want to call that.
I would call it an art team. I think I would call it an art team.
Their aesthetics for their splash arts, especially as of late, are fucking phenomenal. I think they do a fantastic job, and I would love to see them do this more often. I think all of these splash arts look really, really cool. And yes, so Riot, if you see this personally, Riot yourself,
Mr. Riot,
keep doing your drawings, man.
Keep doing what you do. Yeah, keep doodling.
Runic Echo's getting a little bit of a buff.
Yep.
Missing Mana Restore. I'm all about it. I think, like, going back to like assassins, or just like the jungle in general. I think that mainly you're getting like these, at least like in the meta, you're getting like a lot of like tank champions and like 80 assassins, apart from like Evelyn. So I think giving a little bit more of a buff to any like AP junglers is really good.
Yeah.
Like you can see that they did the change with Echo too. So I think they're trying to incorporate more AP junglers, because I think there is like a shortage for sure.
Yeah, no, there definitely is. It's just people who would build Runic Echoes in the first place.
Yeah, it's few and far between.
Right now you have Evelyn.
Yeah, Evelyn. That's like, it's, if you were like feeling frisky, I guess you could do it on Gragas. Like, I think some people run Runic Echoes on Gragas, but yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully this will make it a little bit more. Hopefully Swain could use a little bit of that. I would be about
it. All right. So the next one's actually a big one. So they're removing Sight Zone, and they're removing everything that builds out of Sight Zone. Why are they doing that? So they say supports spend a ton of gold and slot space on 2 items that exist largely for their role. We're merging those items together to give supports more autonomy in their itemization. I agree with that. I like that line of thinking.
Or like what's happening here, if I'm looking at it correctly, is they're taking all of the support items, and when you complete the quest, instead of having these like specific upgrades to that item, you get your sight stone out of it.
Yeah, so it used to be when you completed the Frostfang quest line, your abilities would give you move speed on hit. The Targon's Brace quest line, once you completed that, you would get that passive shield thing, blah 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 blah. Now that's not a thing anymore, and like you just said, it completes at 500 gold now, as opposed to 750. But once you hit that 500 gold, it pretty much turns your item into a sight stone with the stats that it already had.
So I think at first, I mean, there was a lot of controversy about this, right? Because people, I think it's kind of weird that it was met with so much criticism at first, because the general idea is to like give supports more flexibility and not have to like
they just don't have to
drop
spend this
800
gold
gold on it. Exactly.
on this item. Yeah.
But now
Eh,
people are feeling more confined to lane because they have to finish this quest to get there. Support item upgraded so you have your sightstone, but I feel like it's a bit of an overreaction. I mean, obviously we'll have to wait and see, but I feel
yeah.
like you'll be able to get it like not easily, but you won't have to stick around like that long. And if you
No.
really want to make your roam play, I mean, if your roam is going to be like fruitful and you're going to like go get a kill or relieve pressure in another lane, then maybe that's worth, waiting an extra 2 or 3 minutes for your sightstone.
Yeah, for sure.
So, instead of it being more restrictive, maybe it's just going to make it more of a decision.
Yeah, not to mention you're not spending the 800 gold in Sightstone, so you can spend that on other items that you could use to buy items that give you power.
And then let's see.
The next batch of support item changes is just meant to make it so that laners are more de-incentivized to build these items,
which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, especially with the bot lane meta right now. Oh my god.
Not only just the bot lane meta, but if they had kept it the same, then you'd have like all these like you would have supports, ADCs, and sometimes mid laners and junglers that all have sightstone because they're like completing these quests. Like that would be absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, they're nerfing, or not nerfing, but they're reappropriating the items to not work as well on like ADCs and mid laners and junglers.
Yeah, so right now a lot of not a lot, but like you have some mid laners and junglers, like some Evelyns are going all the way into Frost Queen's Claim to get the active. If you ever watch Shifter, he does it on Echo.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to do that anymore.
Like literally every AD runs Relic Shield right now, and this is going to stop that because you're going to get half of the healing, which is, I mean,
I think it'll stop it. Yeah, I think it'll stop it, which is good. I mean, the bot lane meta is so boring right now
either, because like a lot of like range supports aren't going to go.
It's mostly Thresh that gets hurt by this.
So I wonder if that's like in it. I wonder if that's going to be a thing or not. Like, what? I wonder if they're going to revisit that.
I mean, if Thresh seems weak after this change, I'm sure they'll touch him.
But don't worry, because these old support items will remain in Twisted Tree Line.
Yes.
So all 5 of you that play Twisted Tree Line.
Right. If you ever just miss your old support items so badly,
just go play Twisted Tree Line. Oh, easy.
Okay. Rune changes, some features and bug fixes, which are always nice, but we won't really talk about those. Okay, so going into the actual changes, they are doing some weird stuff with Aftershock. So now,
to say the least.
So they're decreasing the base damage. They're decreasing the health scaling on the damage, but it also now scales with bonus attack damage and ability power. They are increasing the flat resistances that they give you, but it no longer amplifies the resistances by a percentage. So what I'm seeing here is overall nerf, especially for tanky champions, but might make it more desirable for like bruisers who will actually be building attack damage or ability power, and now the flat resistances are way higher. So not saying you'll take it on Jarvan, but think about taking it on Jarvan. Instead of getting just the 20 flat resistances, now you'll get 70 at level 1,
which is huge.
Just a lot. And your initial EQ is going to be, you're going to be super durable while that's procced.
It seems like they are finally trying, like everybody says that bruisers don't have keystones, and like that's debatable to some degree, but this is going to make it definitely more applicable to bruisers.
For the divers, for sure. Not all bruisers are divers, so for them,
not all divers are bruisers. Wait, Maybe.
But I think it makes sense. I mean, bot lane, you have a lot of tanky supports who are taking aftershock.
I mean,
that's kind of like the
main...
support meta right now.
For sure, like Alistar, Leona, all that kind of stuff. I did a little bit of changing to Grasp of the Undying.
They're making it so that the range penalty is less than it was last patch. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna help some people.
It just says even champions like Gnar and Urgot don't perform well with it. Yeah, but I mean, is the 10% healing and damage reduction increase and the 1 health per proc going to make enough difference to be like, oh, I want to take this now over other Keystones? Probably not. Probably not.
I mean, Riot has said several times that they think that the Resolve tree is performing poorly and not as attractive as many other like trees, which I think is kind of inherent if you look at like a durability tree, but they're just trying. So
yeah, good for them. Good for you.
Guardian.
And so
mostly a buff to Guardian.
Yeah, I mean, they say they want to make it a little bit weaker, but more noticeable. So the cooldown is greatly increased at level 1. The base shield is not, but the scaling is a little bit better. So early on, it's just not going to proc as much. When it does, it'll be a little bit better. At level 18, it's going to be slightly up a little bit more often, and then scale just a little bit better. So I would say overall nerf, in my opinion. It's going to be slightly more noticeable, which is fair, I think, because I don't think I've ever been like, oh wow, man, Guardian just saved my life there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Guardian, you know, that was a sick Guardian play. So it'd be nice to kind of have that, although it's not going to. But again,
they'll find like a middle ground with it.
Yeah, again, they're just trying to touch on the resolve tree just to make it like more exciting.
So going past resolve, go into inspiration. So some buffs to glacial augment. So you're just getting more slow out of it in general, which is cool. I think nobody really takes it. Like, I mean, like I've seen people take it, but it's definitely not like a hot item keystone. So I think this might make it more attractive to people.
Yeah, I mean, more slow percentage is always nice. It's just gonna be more at almost all times.
Help kiting and creating space. So it may be a thing that picks up a little bit more, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I always thought the active item slow field was like super strong, and now it's going to be even better. So for the champions that do take it and can make use of that active item slow field, I mean 60%, that's pretty strong.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to see it jump up in popularity at least a little bit. I know.
I know you can go ahead because I was going to move on.
Well, I was just going to say I know that I mean, they even mention it, like Aurelion Sol picks it up sometimes, and
that makes sense.
I still feel like there's other keystones that you could take on him, but I think maybe after this you only take Glacial Augment. Maybe that's just like the default choice, unless you have a reason to go something else.
So they're finally nerfing Kleptomancy.
Yes.
Which I feel like has been gaining in popularity, actually. I feel like a lot of people take Kleptomancy on like different champions now.
It was funny
Which,
when
like,
it like first came out. It was everybody loved it because it was new and fun, and
yeah,
of course you had the Ezreal and the Gangplanks, who were like the main abusers of it at first, and people actually experimented a lot and found it to be pretty good on some other champions that you wouldn't normally think of. A lot of like fighters and bruisers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely
anything you wanted to sustain on.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, like I said, I think it's just getting more and more popular, and it's really strong on like a lot of champions that like you said, you didn't think that it would be. So they're decreasing the drop rate significantly in the first 15 minutes, and then even after the first 15 minutes, it's still less than it was before, and the sell values of all these items are 20% less. So like, I mean, you're finding like a lot of champions could take Kleptomancy and go behind in lane, but because of this Keystone, they would come out ahead in gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that doesn't really feel good for like a lot of people. Like, you beat somebody in lane, but because they have this Keystone, they're just like regenning all the time, staying in lane, and getting more out of it. So
hey, remember as Gangplank, I used to have like a weak early game. Well, now I'm just gonna sustain through it, and I'm guaranteed to scale up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
same thing with Ezreal.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like I said, we might have to come back to like the Ezreal thing and see how like the nerfs to Kleptomancy and his Q affect him.
All right.
Precision, they're going back to they're nerfing coup de grace and last stand again.
And Triumph again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like these have been hit numerous times since they came out, and they're being hit again. I think this makes sense. I don't know. I feel like I'm personally in the camp of like, I think a lot of these Keystones and like runes aren't necessarily like OP. They're just like inherently better than the other ones, and like maybe they should make the other runes and Keystones like more exciting and better. But
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
But yeah, they're being hit again. They're just like tuning the damage and the gold on kill from Triumph. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. They're just gonna keep hitting it like until people stop taking it.
The next one I can actually kind of agree with the nerf on.
Oh, for sure.
Zombie Ward. Nerf on the duration at early levels. I think Zombie Ward's been being taken a lot, and it can contribute to the slow pace of the game, especially in competitive play. Because the more vision you have, the less risks you have to take to, I mean, just in general. And so when you have like the whole map just being lit up by zombie wards, you're not going to be, you're not going to be taking risks by doing anything. I mean,
it makes sense.
You just have less information to work off of.
Yeah,
and
it makes sense too with the changes to the support items, and everybody's like, it's gonna be easier to grab sight sins for like a lot of shape. So,
on the other hand, though, they increased the vision radius on Ghost Poro.
They had to.
Don't see anybody taking Ghost Poro.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
But perhaps if they give it a little bit of love, somebody can find a good use for it. We shall see. And then there's the big one.
Oh yeah, this is huge.
A giant, actually, system change in this patch, and that is that targeted spells will now draw minion aggro. So things like Pantheon Q, Cassiopeia E, single targeted abilities. They did not used to draw minion aggro, but now they will. So their reasoning is that changing this mechanic will make those champions a lot more intuitive to play against, as well as easier to balance. And I think overall that makes sense and is a net gain. It is a good change.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense, and I think it allows them to make those targeted spells more powerful because now they actually have like a distinct downside to using them. You know, the big thing with Pantheon nowadays is that you literally just throw your Q at the person every chance you get and just whittle them down, and they can't do anything, and the minions won't target them, so there's no real risk for them to do that. Now there is. Now when the Cassiopeia hits you with her Q and she goes all in on you with her, like, just spamming her E on you, there's a risk to it. She'll be taking damage from the minions.
Makes
So
sense. Yeah, I think it's a good change.
there are going to be champions who are negatively hurt by this who don't deserve it, I think. But it's one of those things where you just kind of have to take the hit in the short run to make room for like a healthier game in the long run.
Yeah, I agree completely.
And then I think the rest of it are not any actually like gameplay.
There's like some quality of life stuff in there.
Yeah.
And stuff you always appreciate from the boys at Riot. Yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good patch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always happy when they make some changes to a boring ass meta, and this is in fact a boring ass meta.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that are contributing it to being pretty slow. So the things that they can do to fix that, I'm all about. Moving on from the patch notes, we have the Swain rework. How do you feel about the Swain rework?
Okay, listen. So when this was announced,
Mm-hmm.
I got on that hype train and I rode that shit, and then it got announced for sure. They did a little teaser trailer first, and I was like, this again, Riot's like art, aesthetic, video, that team of people, give those people a pay raise. This rework, I think, is super cool. He looks awesome. His abilities look really cool. He's dark. His little eye thing that he has is really unique in my opinion, and they knocked this one out of the park. He's like a completely new champion, and he looks way cooler.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think it's super tight. I think, and
his
I don't
passive
even.
is really interesting.
His passive.
Passives.
It's just funny because it's an active ability in a way. But
it's like half passive, half active.
Yeah. I think the only thing that I could really say about this rework that I'm not 100% happy with, which, could be debated. I think with League champions, most of them have like very distinct features about them that make them stand out, like towards, as opposed to other like fictional characters. There's things that like make them like uniquely League-like, I guess. And I thought with old Swain, his bird companion was one of those things. His cane, just the way he looked, was more League-like than he looks now. I think, don't get me wrong, I think he looks way cooler. And like the demon hand is cool, and like the demon form is cool, and he still has like the crows and stuff like that. I wish there was like one extra thing that was like kind of unique about his look, because otherwise he's just kind of like an older dude with a jacket over his shoulders and like some military gear, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's fine to have champions like that. Like a lot of the Noxian champions are kind of in that style where they are more the typical normal human being type champions with just some like dark gray armor, like Darius or Katarina.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I think that where he lacks like the old identity that he had, and like maybe what separated him and made him more of a League character, I think he fits his lore and his theme way more now.
Yeah, for sure. No,
like before he's like, I'm the general and I have all these like great tactical battle plans. And like
Mhm.
you got a little bird and you're walking around with a stick, you look like a goof.
Yeah.
But now he looks like menacing and like
Mhm.
he's got some fucking crazy ideas going up in his head. I think
Yeah.
but
No.
I know exactly what you mean.
I was
He
listening to
looks a
his
little bit
voiceover.
more. Oh yeah.
Generic is just what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I know I was listening to his voiceover, and I think once I actually play him, I'll probably like stop feeling that way as much, just because a lot of his lines are like really cool. His voiceover is super good.
Yeah, and I one thing I always love seeing when they do these like reworks on past champions is what they do with the skins.
Mhm.
And like obviously, I don't think we have any in-game footage of any of his skins yet, as
Yeah.
far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
we
they
do.
have it. I'm on Surrender at 20, by the way. Shout out to Surrender at 20. I'm using your website to show off this rework. Yeah, no, they have in-game footage of the skins.
Oh, well, so what I was gonna say was that the splash art looks really cool for like literally all of them.
I think all of them look.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. I see.
Mhm.
Let's see. Keep scrolling. Okay, so his like northern front looks super good actually.
Yeah, it has like blue
Ooh, I like that.
particles,
The blue
and
particles look really cool.
the birds are all like owls, and his
That's
ult
really
has
cool. I
like
like
owl
that.
wings.
Let's see. His Jack Sparrow skin that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
actually really like the way the colors like contrast, and his little birds
Yeah.
are cute. I like that. And then
and then
you got Tyrant Swain.
yes,
He looks like a total badass.
Yes.
The green particles look super cool. His eyes, like his little eye ability,
Mhm.
his back animation, or he's like on that little thing. He looks really cool.
Yeah.
He looks like a WoW character.
I think one of the things I'm most excited about this, yes, he does. He looks like Maev Shadow Song, if you know who I'm talking about.
Mr. Shadow Song.
So one of the things I'm actually most excited about this rework is the prospect of new Swain skins and how cool those are going to look. So just
And one big thing for me, and I like touched on it earlier when we were talking about junglers. I think when it comes to like AP champions, they tend to be, I don't want to say like one-dimensional, but they're all like, look at how much damage I can do, and like look at all these different ways I can do damage. I think having more bruiser type AP champions is really healthy for the game, and
yeah, for sure.
that's exactly what he's gonna be.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that that's what he's trying to do already, but this is way cooler. So
Yeah, I really like that style of champion. Okay, I'm just gonna run over the abilities really quickly. So he has 2 passives. One of them is when any immobilized champion, he can right click them to pull them towards him, and he rips out what's called a soul fragment. He deals some damage, and that's on a 12 to 6 second cooldown. So then the other passive is that enemy champion deaths create a soul fragment that Swain can collect to restore 4 to 7% of his total health, and he can store up to 5 soul fragments, and that plays into his ult later on. So basically, most of the stuff that he does creates these soul fragments, and those will heal him and then let his ult become more powerful. And the first part of this passive is kind of technically an active ability. Pretty interesting, but I dig it.
Yeah, but it's not like anything like you don't have to like do anything crazy. You just right click. So
Yeah.
So it is an active ability, but you don't have to like go out of your way to do anything crazy to make it happen. But I think that's a pretty interesting active ability, actually.
Yeah. So his Q ability is the ability that I would describe it most as is Ash W. It's like a cone with projectiles. These are like electric bolts that stop on the first person hit. They pierce through enemies that they kill, and enemies that get hit by multiple take an additional percentage of damage per bolt, and each unit killed restores some mana.
So this is like an ability you can use in lane to not only wave clear, but like if you time it, you can wave clear and
Restore your mana.
Yeah.
And it's on a pretty short cooldown actually. It's 7.5 at rank 1, 2.5 at rank 5. So if you get into the fray, it's got sort of a short range, but once you get into the fray, you can spam this ability.
Yeah.
Very cool. His W is pretty unique. It's called Vision of the Empire. He opens up a demon eye up to 3,500 range away that deals some magic damage and slows for 2.5 seconds.
So this ability is like the range on it is gnarly.
Yes,
it's
super
really
long.
Far.
And enemies
I think
hit.
It's gonna be great.
Enemies hit grant him a soul fragment. So this is one of the ways that he can heal. He can heal up, and they're revealed for 4 to 8 seconds.
Yeah, so you can use it like on objectives, and if you have like a good idea, like maybe the enemy team is hiding, you can just like pop this up on them. And the cooldown up is pretty high on it when it first starts. So
yeah, for sure. So it's definitely it's just a very impactful ability. So its cooldown is pretty high. Super unique. I cannot wait to interrupt people's backs just constantly with it, just to annoy the hell out of them.
And to top it off, it looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, you just have the Sauron eye pop up.
That's what I was thinking too.
And then his E
he reminds you of Saruman, honestly. Like his,
a little bit, yeah.
If he was like all white,
that would be a cool.
Oh yeah.
Swain the gray, Swain the white. His E is never move. In this one,
sounds familiar.
Yes. It's different though. So this one he launches just like it in a straight line, and then I think you click it again, or it just automatically comes back.
It says he commands it to return, so
and it does another extra bit of damage and roots the first enemy hit. So you have some CC in this kit.
And it roots the first enemy that it hits, so you can hit multiple champions, but whoever is like closest to you is going to get rooted.
Yep.
So
you can use your passive on them.
Yeah.
If you want to bring them closer to you, or if you want to keep them where they're at, just don't right click them.
Yeah, so it's like actually you have so much utility with that. You can either self peel, or if you want to lock them down and then be like, "Oh, come here," and like, I think it's he's gonna have a lot of mechanical potential, I feel like.
Okay, and then his ultimate. So his ultimate does not cost any mana, but it costs soul fragments.
It costs all
of your soul fragments. Swain freezes the demon within for X seconds, but when I scroll down to look at the tooltip, it says 12. It's pretty long duration. Gaining base health. Just gaining max health. Every second he drains the 3 closest enemy champions.
Again, it looks so cool when he does it.
Yep. Healing him while he does it. After draining at least like 150 at rank 1, 450 at rank 3 health, he gains the ability to recast the ability into Demon Flare, and that's pretty much like Vlad E. He just unleashes like a ring around him of damage, and that damage scales off of the soul fragments. So it's definitely a play off of his old alt, but with a little bit more skill expression built into it with the like final burst of damage. I'm assuming it still works when you use Zanya's, which it was a pretty key interaction with his old alt. It gives you max health now, so you end up being just a little bit tankier. Not to mention, of course, all the damage and regen. It ends up being actually pretty similar.
It's pretty similar, but it said because the old alt was like a toggle, right? I don't know if it's still that way, but that's when I played. It was like a toggle.
Yeah.
So this is more of like it feels like an ultimate.
Like an ultimate, yes.
For like a huge
burst.
Like if you're getting low or there's like a lot of enemies around, you can like build yourself up a little bit, and then if they're dumb enough to stick around, you're gonna do massive damage to them with a different player.
Yep.
There's a little video that you can watch on the website of him 2v1ing a Kane and somebody else and just destroying Kane. So
yeah.
I think, as we have already said, that they did a really good job with their rework.
Yeah, no, I think it's super cool. I'm really, really excited to play them. Like I said earlier, I like playing AP Bruiser champions and having another one that actually looks cool now and is gonna be fun to play. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he should be able to be used top and bot, because like Vladimir's
top and bot,
top and mid, top and bot of top
support,
which is mid.
Yes, the bottom of top.
I'm talking about AD
from the top to the bottom.
Bottom and top of stop. Oh, cool. I forgot. Okay, this is just gonna be a Linkin Park music video at the end.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, Riot's doing cool stuff. I like it. Good job, guys.
Yeah, we have anything else to talk about?
Well, now that we have like this little template and we can like run over this stuff,
yes.
If people have any ideas or like topics they want us to talk about, just dumb. We can just talk about dumb stuff. I don't care. Make some.
Yeah, let's just make some dumb videos.
Let's become a meme channel. You'll never believe what happened.
5 things that you won't believe happened with the Swain rework. Oh my god.
5 Swains you won't believe. Or rework.
The 3rd one will blow your mind.
The true reason Riot reworked Swain. Nazi implications? Maybe.
Okay. Alright, that's enough. So for whatever reason you were stupid enough to stick around to the end of this video.
Oh my god. We're at like, what, half an hour right now? Just rambling on.
Yeah, whatever, something like that. I don't think it's been half an hour. Has it?
I mean, it's 12 o'clock, and I think we started at like 11:30.
Oh god. Okay.
I mean, so I think that there is like a small group of people that don't want to read and just want to listen. This is good for you.
This is for you. This is for you. Anyways, thank you for sticking around.
Yeah,
let's wrap this shit up real quick, or else this is gonna go on all night. Thank you for sticking around. We're gonna be putting out more videos in the future. Every video is an experiment. Every one we're gonna be iterating on to make better. This is our first time doing this type of video, so it's probably pretty bad, but it's gonna get better.
But how you can help is by telling us what was
good
about it. And you don't have to be a dick. You can tell us what we did well, too, if there's anything.
You can
make something up.
You can be a dick, though.
You're allowed.
Yeah, like, you're allowed to be a dick.
Be like 90% dick.
Yeah. If you want to see more content from us in the future, you could always subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We're going to do it anyways, so...
Yeah, we're going to do it anyways.
Subscribe is going to happen.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and
Thanks, dudes.
We will see you next time.
Bye.